Tadej Pogačar did something today he's never done before, picking up the 2025 Critérium du Dauphiné, the first time for him to ever win this race. And not only did he win it, he dominated it. 3 stage wins, and today, the race overall. As we're heading towards the 2025 Tour de France, Tadej Pogačar underlined why he should be the race favorite as we head into July 5th, where the Tour starts in Lille. Tadej's won at just about everything this season. The UAE Tour, then went to the Spring Classics. Strade, didn't do Milano-San Remo, didn't get the win there, didn't get it in Paris-Roubaix, but he got Tour Flanders, and he won Flèche Wallonne, and he won Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and today, capped it off, came back, started stage racing again, and the first day starts, well, it was a stage 1 of this race, Critérium du Dauphiné, and he hadn't raced it back since 2020, and he wins that stage 1, and he goes on to top it off, to polish it off today, get that yellow jersey and bring it home. Second overall, well, that's Jonas Vingegaard, his #1 rival when we get to the Tour de France. Third, Florian Leibowitz in the white jersey as well. A big surprise, also going to be setting shotgun with Primož Roglič when we get to the Tour de France. And a great battle between Remco Evenepoel and Tobias Johannesson, as you're seeing the GC up there on the screen, and a great show by the 18-year-old Paul Saxes from AG2R La Mondiale Decathlon. Great ride out there by the 18-year-old, and we wish he was going on to the Tour de France. And oh, what a beautiful backdrop today. I'm up here in Mont-Saint-Denis, up on the plateau. There was a 5-kilometer stretch up on the plateau with about a 9-kilometer climb to get up here. And it's basically a 137-kilometer drag uphill all day long to cap out the 8 days of racing of the 2025 Critérium du Dauphiné. And who was it that celebrated victory? No, you guessed wrong. It wasn't Tadej Pogačar. It was Lenny Martinez. Yes, 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 he'd made the escape, and let's back it up. How did he make that escape? Well, it was in the escape. Also was in there Mathieu van der Poel. It was Enric Mas with the teammate, an important helper, also stage winner, and had the yellow jersey. Ivan Romeo, satellite riders, Sepp Kuss for Visma Lease Bike, Valentin Perpentre for Soudal Quickstep, and Remco Evenepoel. And also we saw another satellite rider up the road, was going to be useful later. Well, that was Bruno Armarai, who would be later a crucial helper for Paul Saxes. How did the escape play out? Well, Mathieu van der Poel was in that escape. He wanted the more green jersey points and picked up the sprint points there, which worked out all right, but didn't win the green jersey competition at the end of the race, unfortunately, because Tadej Pogačar, by getting third on the stage there behind Jonas Vingegaard, well, he got more points in the green jersey competition and took it from Mathieu van der Poel, even if he probably didn't want it. Oh, sorry, Mathieu van der Poel, but Tadej's taken that home. The escape started to disintegrate, especially when we hit the base of the climb. The gap was about 115 or so. Uno X had been pulling all day for Tobias Johannesson to try to, 1, keep the escape in check, 2, perhaps crack Remco Evenepoel when we got on the climb, because Johannesson was just right there behind Remco Evenepoel, who hadn't been showing well since that TT win, didn't show well in the mountains, but don't count him out because he did have that crash. And Tobias Johannesson was in fact the one that lit it up, and we'll get to that here in a minute when we get back to the GC group. But up ahead, Lenny Martinez was eventually left with Enric Mas. We had Ivan Romeo just pulled off after doing all that work for Enric Mas. Enric Mas tried, but then it was Lenny Martinez with around, I think 8 kilometers to go. Got up to the top of the plateau with around 30 seconds in hand and had what it took to go into the line to pull off victory, as he did in Paris-Nice. A big one for Bahrain Victorious. Now back in the GC group, because what was going on? Well, Tobias Johannesson lit it up, went up the road, and that really kind of kicked things going off. Back behind, unfortunately, Paul Saxes hit the deck at the same time. We spoke with him here at the finish line. He was devastated, knocked out. He was upset, and it had been such a hard week for him as an 18-year-old. Think about you. What were you doing when you were 18? Well, this kid's out there fighting against elite level athletes. He still picked himself up off the ground and rode well to the finish line. Bruno Armarai, who picked up enough points in the mountains jersey classification to take home that for the team, well, he dropped back and he helped Paul Saxes to the finish line. So great ride out there for the team. Tobias Johannesson's move eventually drew out Remco Evenepoel, and he was followed by Tadej, by Jonas. And then we saw an attack again by Johannesson. We also saw an attack, yes, is what we wanted. We wanted to see it go from Jonas, and he did around 6.6 kilometers to go. Tadej was on it right away. And at that time, we're getting Sepp Kuss dropping back, and he's helping his team leader, Vingegaard, who Sepp hasn't been looking good, frankly, since the last time he won the Volta a España, but he's building up. He seems to be getting better as we go towards the Tour de France, so that's a good sign. Also for Jonas Vingegaard, who did a great TT, and in these days, we spoke with him at the finish line, and he's happy with how he's going. And I suggest he's going into the Tour de France like a Danish stealth fighter jet, a little bit under the radar, when all eyes and attention are on Tadej Pogačar to try to pull off a 4th Tour de France victory. Well, with that move of Jonas, that really shattered the field behind. Remco Evenepoel was with Florian Lipovitz where he wanted to be. He didn't have enough energy to overhaul Lipovitz to get that 3rd place overall, but at the same time, he had enough energy to hold off Tobias Johannesson to hold on to his 4th place overall, where Johannesson is in 5th place overall. Again, the attack of Jonas Vingegaard, they were separated along with Tadej Pogačar riding up the hill. And when they got to that plateau, well, nothing really happened between them. In fact, they were riding together, coming here to the finish line. And it was Jonas Vingegaard picking up 2nd on the stage. I don't think Tadej needed to get that 2nd spot. And what an 8-day race we had from start to finish. And I had a great time here in France. All those little B&B stays, all the beautiful runs through the French countryside, in the Alps, through the rolling hills and the vineyards. And we're going to be doing it again in the Tour de France. And we're going to find out if Tadej Pogačar can win a 4th Tour de France victory. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you don't like the domination. Let me know down in the comments. Maybe you think Jonas Vingegaard is back on track. But today, Tadej picked up that win in the Critérium du Dauphiné. He remembered back in 2020, he learned in that race that he could go on to win the Tour de France. And in fact, he did go on to win the Tour de France in that 1-2 battle with Roglic. Roglic is going to be back with Florian Lipovitz when we get to July 5th in the Tour de France, and we're going to see a great showdown. I don't know about Remco Evenepoel because I did put it to him. He doesn't quite have the team with Vervaeke and with Landa out, but he's got some guys coming in from the Tour de Suisse. He explained up there, and he ends the race on a high. He said he feels good despite the sinuses or the hay fever that's blocking him up, and he should be recovering from the crash as we head towards the Tour de France. But it's Tadej Pogačar after Lenny Martinez, always on the run like Lenny Kravitz. I got to fly away. Okay, enough of that, but he was Bahrain victorious on the stage 8. But bringing it home, the sun god of cycling, numero uno, the rainbow champion, the 99th career victory he pulled off here today in the Critérium du Dauphiné. Well, it's Tadej Pogačar on top as we head towards the Tour de France.